Hello and welcome. Tonight, it's the end of political era in Kogi State as APC governorship candidate Audu Abubakar is buried in his hometown. DSS continues to lay siege to the home of Sambo Dasuki as federal government opposes attempt by the accused to enforce his fundamental rights. Benue State Shorpy graduates protest unpaid salaries. And France intensifies airstrikes against Islamic State militants in Syria and Iraq.
On business news, Vice President Yemi Osinbajo to launch Capital Market Master Plan this week.
And on sports news, dozens of Kenyan athletes stormed the Federation headquarters demanding resignation of leading officials.
Sulaiman Alede, Chief Abubakar Audu, the first civilian governor of Kogi State, who died after his election was declared inconclusive, has been buried in his hometown in Obonicha. His death, which caused panic and confusion in the state, occurred just when some of his supporters were about to celebrate what would have been the victory of the APC in the governorship contest. The 68-year-old Audu was buried according to Islamic rites, and in attendance were the state's Deputy Governor Yomi Iwoni, former Kano State Governor Rabi Konkonso, and former Edo State Governor Lucky Benedion. This will be the first time a candidate will be declared dead just as a governorship election he is involved in was nearing conclusion.
Obonicha village in Kogi State, playing host to hundreds of family members, friends, and political associates of Prince Abubakar Audu. This group of people would have also gathered here to celebrate his victory if the election was declared conclusive. But the reverse is the case, as these women and friends gather in groups discussing what has befallen the state and the nation. As his political friends mourn his passage, the indigents of Obonicha will not forget in a hurry that there was once a great politician who brought the name of the village into limelight.
We have been very sad. We have been praying, but of course, with total submission to Almighty God, I want to say that we lost our friend, our brother, Prince Abubakar Audu, who unfortunately died yesterday. We are here in his hometown, in his house, and we have seen that we have gone through all the processes of burying him. He has been buried according to Islamic rites, and we will continue to pray for him.
If you remember, he started off during the NROC SDP days when he won election under the military regime. And then, of course, in 1999, he won through popular vote. And now in 2015, for him to be able to come back and win again, it's a rare feat, that must be commended. It also goes to show the appreciation of the Kogi people of what he has done in the past.
And when the crowd sighted his body as it was being taken for burial, more emotions were expressed by the people. Now that Abubakar Audu is gone, the people and his supporters will have to contend with the fact that their hero is no more. Another chapter is now expected to be opened, with INEC making pronouncements on which way to go in respect of the governorship election in Kogi State.
In the meantime, the president, who is attending the third gas exporting countries forum in Tehran, Iran, says he received the news of the death of Prince Audu with great shock. President Muhammadu Buhari's special assistant on media and publicity, Garba Shehu, conveyed his condolences in a statement. He says, quote, President Buhari condoles with the family of the late governor, the government and people of Kogi State, as well as all our party members, men and women who stood with Audu in his bid to return as governor. End of quote. The president described the late Audu as a talented politician, a loving family head, and a respected community leader. It's been the subject of discourse and, in some cases, raised intense legal debate. Speaking of the outcome of the Kogi State governorship election, just as voters and observers try to wrap their heads around the inconclusive pronouncement by the Independent National Electoral Commission, the news of the death of the APC candidate Prince Abubakar Audu came as a rude shock. Our political correspondent Audu Abubakar reviews the exercise and the events as they unfolded.
They were all out. They threw every weight at the contest. A keenly contested race. The streets of Kogi State saw almost a daily festival of campaigns. Early Saturday morning, the contest began in earnest. Pressure of INEC rising up to the occasion mounts. Fairly, the commission lived up to the bidding. At least that's the view of most observer groups.
The process started very early. At 8 o'clock, materials were already on site, which was quite unusual, considering the fact that this is the first turnout of the new, as it were, leadership of INEC. So, on the start off, you could say they've left the starting block pretty very well.
As the exercise went on, travelers are caught up in the movement restriction order. At a polling unit, the scorching sun did not deter some who have made up their minds to come out to vote. Even the heavy security presence in and around the 21 local government areas did not stop them. As always in Kogi State, turnout in this election is not impressive. Only 37% of voters turned up to vote. Voting, counting, and all the aspects of the process done, the suspend part is ahead. After several hours of waiting for the results to come in, exactly 24 hours when the election commenced, the commission began announcement of the first local government results. 12 hours later, the all results are in the bag, and the chief returning officer concludes computing the figures, but the election is inconclusive.
This election is therefore inconclusive.
The agents of the leading parties in the race immediately react to the pronouncement.
We couldn't have accepted a declaration of this election if it went otherwise. The supplementary election means that we are going to redress the wrongs that were created by those cancellations. So we are going to participate fully.
And you think for us is the victory delayed, and the PDP is crying foul around that there was manipulation, there was rigging, and my response to that is that when you beat a child, you expect the child to cry.
Unknownly to them, the news of the death of the APC candidate Prince Abubakar Audu filtered in. Inconclusive election on one hand, the death of Prince Abubakar Audu on the other hand puts the Kogi election in a tough political and legal conundrum. INEC has no enviable job at all this time, as its decision to resolve perhaps one of the most critical electoral and political dilemma in the nation's modern history stares everyone in the face. Audu Abubakar reporting for Channels Television News.
The All Progressives Congress is mourning, no doubt, the death of its governorship candidate in Kogi State, Prince Abubakar Audu. The parties described him as one of his stars, a Democrat par excellence, a development-oriented leader, and a beacon for the liberation of Kogi State from its apparent decay. He was a prince of hope, a symbol of peace, and an apostle of unity and reintegration of Kogi State. We commiserate with his family and the great people of Kogi State for having a strong belief in Abubakar Audu's capacity to redeem the state. In the meantime, the national leadership of the People's Democratic Party says that it is shocked over the death of former Kogi State Governor and the All Progressives Congress governorship candidate in last Saturday's election, Prince Abubakar Audu, describing it as a monumental loss. In Part 2 after the break, more on the Kogi election, plus DSS seeks to amend charges against embattled Radio Biafra director Nnamdi Kanu. Do stay with us.